we're going to look at a film on streaming. I'm not sure whether this did actually have a cinema release. This is Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget. Scott, do you want to introduce that to us?
Sure. So, long-awaited sequel to the film Chicken Run, which was essentially The Great Escape with animated chickens. This is Mission Impossible with animated chickens. Here's a clip.
Life doesn't get better than this. We've put the past behind us. We have Molly to think about now.
What a bonny wee hen.
I made her a bicycle.
Oh, what a lovely thought.
Scott, do you want to start on this one? What did you make of this?
Yeah. So, first of all, like a lot of Aardman products, brilliant title. I think that's really funny from when I first heard this was going to be a project, so I'm all in on that. I'll be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of the original Chicken Run. I think I saw it when I was obviously a lot younger, and I think back in those days, I wasn't a fan of that style of animation. That claymation thing just wasn't a thing that I was into. So I never really appreciated it as much as I probably should have. This one, I think I have grown, I've matured, I've learned as I've got more into movies to appreciate different styles, and I loved this one. I thought it was sweet, it was funny, you've got great family entertainment all around. The plot, relatively simple. Essentially, Rocky, who's our lead from the first film, has now had a daughter called Molly. Molly is an adventurous little chick who ventures off and finds herself getting captured. And essentially, we have a action plot that involves a bunch of the family and friends trying to break into a chicken factory to rescue young Molly. And so there's lots of visual gags, lots of written gags as well. I think it plays up the voice cast incredibly. I could be here all day if I start naming all the famous people that are in this movie, but if you just go into IMDb, there's lists and lists of people you know. Mm-hmm. This was one where, as I said, because I wasn't hugely into the first one, I went into this thinking, okay, I'll see what it's like, but not huge expectations. And I came away just thinking that was really wholesome. It's the kind of film that this time of year you could literally put in front of the kids, put in front of the grandparents. Everyone could watch this film together and have a good time. I think that the characters are clever in the way that they represent all different types of society, where we've got a lot of variance. I'll be honest, some of the accents for a group of chickens that are supposed to be from the same place, there's a lot of various accents going on there. But it's a kids' film. Let's not quibble too much about that. One thing I had a slight issue with, and I knew it kind of going in, was I did miss Mel Gibson as the voice of Rocky. He was replaced by Zachary Levi because of all of Mel Gibson's issues that he's made himself quite controversial, and so I guess they don't want him in a kids' film anymore. But there was something about Levi's voice coming out of that character that just didn't quite feel right. So I did miss that. But on the whole, yeah, lovely, sweet family film. Enjoyed it.
Good. Okay. Scott, no, let's go Andy. Sorry.
I was a massive fan of the original. I mean, I think the original is in my top 5 animated films of all time. So I went into this with high hopes and I was not disappointed. I think it's a very clever twist. As you say, Scott, it's Chicken Run does Mission Impossible. I loved all the high-tech gadgetry, the stuff that was guarding the chicken farm, the robots and everything else. I thought it was very, very funny. It's the kind of film you need to see perhaps 2 or 3 times in order to fully appreciate all the visual gags that are going on. We should add there's a 19-minute documentary on the making of the film, also on Netflix, which is well worth watching. And when you realise that films like this take 6-7 years, to make, and it's been over 20 years we've been waiting for the sequel, and yet it just felt as fresh and as original and as lovely as the first one. And you could sit and watch them back to back, really, with the voice cast problems, obviously. but it didn't really bother me because the story was so good, the animation is so spectacular, the jokes are laugh out loud funny, and the whole production is beautifully done, as you would expect from Aardman. So I absolutely loved it. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, same sort of sentiments. I just really love Aardman humour. And like I say, it's just genuinely wholesome. And as Scott said, anyone can watch this film. I don't think there's anything to be offended about. It's just good fun. Now, I have probably only seen the original Chicken Run once, and I don't remember watching it. So that probably means I watched it 20 years ago.
I'm the same, to be honest. Yeah.
I absolutely loved just the dynamic between Molly and her little friend she finds when they're both the same goal. They want to find out where everyone's going, and they want to join them and have all the fun, and then obviously what happens inside the chicken farm. And I just loved the dynamic they had, and like you say, it's a Mission Impossible kind of action adventure chicken film. And yeah, I just really enjoyed myself. It was just really lovely to watch.
Great. And Dan?
So I'm a huge fan of the original Chicken Run as well. I saw it as a kid. It came out when I was 9 years old. And there was a certain...
I feel so old.
Oh, I know. There's a certain darkness to that original film, which I really quite appreciated. There's a death at the beginning of the original film, which really struck me when I first saw it. And I think that's something that was missing in this film, was that darkness. Although the guy who directed this, Sam Fell, was the co-director of a film from 2017 called Kubo and the Two Strings, which was an amazing stop-motion fantasy film. And I think he's brought some of that darkness over into Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget, particularly in a sequence where a character meets their end in a very quick and rather disturbing way, which had me both gasping and laughing at the same time, because I thought, oh, okay, they've just done that in a kid's film. For me, it's fine. It's not top-tier Aardman to me. This isn't Curse of the Were-Rabbit or the first Chicken Run. It's fine. I didn't love it. I laughed a few times. I missed the earthy textures of Tweedy's farm. I missed the Great Escape edge to it. I think there's been so many variant rip-offs of Mission Impossible, that kind of thing. I just loved the literal down-to-earth, the feeling of the first Chicken Run. That's the one I'll always go back to. I think Dawn of the Nugget is a fun film. It's got some good laughs in it. But it's not one that I'm going to come back to year after year like I do the original Chicken Run. But yeah, that one scene where the chicken goes to the heavens was funny. That was very darkly humorous. That was.
Just for your
information,
Dad, I was 38 when the original came out.
Oh well, there you go. There you go.
The time is an illusion, Andy. Yeah.
True.
Yeah, that scene where all the chickens kind of go to this fun land theme park, I thought was very clever, because it really plays to that idea about what's it? Free range.
Oh,
Free range chicken farming, and keep your chickens happy while they're going around. And this takes it to the natural conclusion that, well, let's keep the chickens really, really happy until the very last moment, right?
It sort of becomes a zombie movie at one point. It's really strange. It becomes Dawn of the Nugget. I think that's what they're sort of referring to, Dawn of the Dead. But with with the wide eyes and things, it reminded me there was an animated film that came out for Netflix this year called Nimona, which was a wonderful hand-drawn film. And that also had characters who would go crazy with giant wide eyes. And I'm a sucker for animation like that, with old Simpsons, where Homer will go completely wall-eyed when he's really into something. I love that. And when the chickens do that in Dawn of the Nugget, that was very funny to me. But yeah, it's a film that references zombie films, that references Mission Impossible. It's got a great dark heritage with the director, as I say, making Kubo and the Two Strings and working for Leica. I just wish I liked it more. I think it's fine, but it's not one that I will go back to.
Okay. I mean, I do normally not like stop motion animation films. Like Scott, I've never particularly liked them, and unlike Scott, I've never grown up to really like them. I mean, for me, compared to Marcel and the Shell with Shoes On from earlier in the year, or even Del Toro's Pinocchio.
Oh, Scott!
This was much more my cup of tea, I have to say, as a film.
That's it.
I much more preferred Marcel the Cell with Shoes On. Much more preferred that to this.
Not me. I think you're in the minority there.
That's fine.
I think we featured that in our first podcast.
I think
One of the
it
very
was
first
one of the early
podcasts.
ones, certainly. Yeah.
It got a mauling. So in terms of scores, I mean, you could convince. I laughed a lot at some of the jokes. I thought it was very funny, and you could convince me to go to a 7 on this one. Dan, what would you go for?
I think I gave this a 5.5.
Ooh, oh God.
Okay, I'll give it a 5 because I think it's perfectly in the middle. I think it's perfectly in the middle. 5.
Emma.
I think it's a 6.
Ooh, right, it's not looking good. Andy.
I'm giving it an 8.
8.
Just
And
loved
Scott.
This is going to be close. I'm giving it a 7.
7. So 15, 21, 26, 33 divided by 5 is not going to do it.
No, it's not going to do it.
That's a 6.6 for Flickering Dreams score for Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget. So that is a marginal miss, our second of the evening in terms of films. Okay, well, so yeah, close one, but that's the way the cookie crumbles.